Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Taneytown Athletic Association meeting for November. We're going to go ahead and just jump into association reports first, and then we'll go into discussing the Memorial Park expansion. So when you come up to let us know about your report for your league, just go to the podium, let us know your name, what league, and give us your report, and then we'll get through everybody. Okay? All right, who wants to go first? Soccer? Bill, come on.
Thanks for volunteering.
Sorry.
Trying to write down some cliff notes real quick for you guys. Hi, Bill Rose with
You want to
FSK
step up to the,
Podium.
we got to do the podium. Sorry.
Okay.
Yep, sorry.
No problem. Bill Rose, class with FSK Junior Eagle Soccer. Our season just ended this past weekend. We had two teams finish in their playoffs in their little tournament in second place. Right now, we're actually having a meeting this evening at 7, so at the next meeting, I should have some better information for you. Little behind this week as far as keeping up with everything.
That's
So,
okay. We understand.
other than that,
Everybody has
Soc-
their week, so,
soccer,
yep.
soccer is doing good.
All right. Well, if you have any updates and you want to just send them to Lorena, maybe she can just send them out and we can put it for the record. Okay?
Can do that.
Thank you, sir. All right.
Ricky Krebs, Taneytown Lions Baseball. We had 110 kids play this fall with 9 teams. We lost a lot of ball field dirt after 2 separate storms and a hurricane this fall, and we had to get topsoil from Lorena to repair Field 4 so we can make it playable. We'd like to thank the city for your continued support. Spring registrations will reopen on December 11th. We're anticipating over 250 kids with our merger with Taruba Baseball. Not counting the new residents from Meads Crossing, we're looking at over 12 T-ball teams and are looking forward to another successful season.
All right. All right. Cheers. Are you going to give us football update as well?
And I guess softball as well.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
You're doing it all. Okay.
I got it all. Hi, my name is Stephanie. I'll start with West Carroll Cheer. Our half-season girls have their first comp this weekend. Our whole season girls will not start comps till January. We have our vendor bingo November 20th. Cheney was very kind and donated to us. And I think that's all for now for cheer. Our practice space is going well. We like it there, so it's a little smaller than we need, but we are definitely making it work. And then football, they played their last games this past weekend as well. Our JV team could play this weekend, but because winter sports are starting, there isn't enough kids to play. Because they made that far in the playoffs. We have our gun drawing in process. That will be drawn December 4th, and our banquet is going to be December 3rd. We are hoping to open our registrations in February or March. Softball. Our fall season completed this past weekend as well. Will Ames's team, 12U, went undefeated, which was really great. They are hoping to open registrations before Christmas. But I know. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I got everybody?
And
lacrosse.
And
You have
lacrosse, yes, they emailed me theirs. They don't have anything to report other than their registration has opened, and it'll be open until mid-January. And again, any organization that has registration open or any kind of news, I'd be happy to share on our, the Parks and Rec Facebook page. And don't forget, of course, about the variable message signboard down at the park. We can put, messages, registration messages and stuff on there as well. So that'll help increase some numbers, hopefully, and get the word out there.
Perfect. All right. So we'll go into the discussion of the Memorial Park expansion. And I'll throw that back out to you, Lorena, just to give us an update.
Okie dokie. And the image is gonna pop up on the screen here momentarily, but everybody's got a copy, I think, or they've seen a copy. It's been emailed. It's coming up here soon. But anyway, based on discussions that we have had, based on the information that Jerry was able to get in discussions with representatives from the different organizations, we moved into this thought process now of having multi-purpose fields on the expansion, and hoping that that will accommodate more gameplay. It'll give field hockey a home, which of course I think everyone agrees that they need, definitely. And it'll give soccer some more playing fields so that they can get out of THS Park, which then will allow softball to use that park exclusively. I know they've got a donor standing by, waiting to write a check to put another field in there, but they can't do that right now while soccer's still using their facilities there. So I think that would just benefit overall the majority of the associations in the city, and also obviously to accommodate some more parking back there. The little SW down in the little corner stands for stormwater. That's where the stormwater is going to flow. And then there's a small, you'll see a little rectangular thing there that has S and C. Just put a multi-purpose building in there, and I was just envisioning, one side being a concession and the other being, storage, or, that part I would envision being larger with a high ceiling, so that way that would help cheer out as well, with maybe, some storage, some practice space there also. And then, of course, these fields all have lights. And that's represented by the little X's on the sides. And those would all be LED lights. And just around the perimeter, we're thinking of a walking trail, just a simple, 4 or 5 foot wide asphalt trail. Now, of course, I'm not an engineer, so once an engineer starts looking at this could change depending on, once they start examining stormwater flow and what grading is necessary. It could change slightly, but the gist of it is that we're envisioning trying to get 3 multi-purpose fields on there, a building for storage and concession, and of course the parking to accommodate that. Now, once this project starts going in, that's going to necessitate that gravel road back there to be slightly widened and paved, just to accommodate the additional traffic. There's not much we can do with the road over between Field 1 and the cemetery. Maybe we can try to widen that a little bit, and pave that, but we feel that we have enough room over there by Field 4 and around the curve back there behind Field 1 and the expansion. So again, it's going to depend on what the engineers, what they find, how they evaluate it, what they feel that we can realistically put in there.
Okay. So we need multi-purpose fields, obviously, because we have a couple leagues that don't have a home at all. So we knew that that was coming down the road, and we needed to address that because it's been too long, and trying to work out schedules in between, I thank you ahead of time. I'll be right with you. So that this will give them an actual home to play on without having to, work around other people's schedules for field usage. So, all right. If you have a question, you can go on up to. You still
Yeah.
have to come up, sorry.
We need the microphone.
We need to,
And speak up,
That's
speak
fine.
up a little bit. I'm kind of,
No, that's fine, that's fine. Question, the 3 fields, I know we were talking about 2, one for soccer, one for kind of field hockey and lacrosse to share since they're opposite seasons.
Mhm.
Just looking at this and all, where you have this first field where you have concessions and probably storage,
Mhm.
could that be a building where then you could do basketball courts and have an area for cheer,
Mm.
since basketball
A
really
larger
doesn't.
building, you mean, than
Yeah.
just a concession slash storage utility
Right.
area? I mean, we could.
That way it can also give indoor space for basketball, which has been
Mm.
really plagued with,
Right.
gym space and all from the schools.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
Give cheer a home because it'll
Right.
be able to have high enough ceilings.
Mhm.
They'll give baseball for like spring tryouts.
Mm.
Instead of going up to all
Mhm.
stars, they could have a tryout space
Right.
inside, and it instead of having the three fields, having the 2 fields and then a utility building.
Now, does that give you enough room to not play on the softball fields? Because when we spoke, you said you would need about a field and a half to not have anything going on in there in the softball
Down at the
park.
softball park.
Yeah. Now, we
Um,
also spoke
I mean, I can check with the soccer board, but with the continued use of facilities over at Northwest, especially in the spring,
Mhm.
which is softball's main season, we could probably work something, that way to gain more space. The only thing is in fall, with their fall ball season, it really doesn't really even affect because the kids that would be there don't play in the dark anyway. It's the older kids that need the lighted fields. So I can check with the board again, but I mean, even if we just had another full field, we could still have 2 more teams practicing and maybe do another U12 field over it, or like a clinic U8 field over at Northwest. So it's just possibilities. And when I saw that, and you have a lot of erosion right here in that first field,
Mm.
that, and that would probably be better to do a building on than try to build a field.
Well, that area, I guess when the satellite picture was taken was when, the county, they were trucking in all of that dirt and just
Okay.
running it back and forth there
Gotcha.
and grading it and all that kind of stuff, yeah, so.
That's just something I was seeing.
Yeah, no, it's a good
and
idea.
suggestion.
And what I can do when we move forward is ask the engineer to visualize 2 plans and what
Or
what
even
is,
if it's not when you first move in, maybe
Yeah.
the back one and bring that, well,
right.
know.
Well, the more important thing is to get a cost estimate, obviously, on a building, because now we're not talking about more of a utility, like like the football field house.
Right.
We're talking, basketball courts
yeah.
with,
Much
the playing surfaces and such, which would be great, but again, factoring in the budget. However, I mean, if we leave that space available, we could always put that building in, later on down the road.
I was just thinking that. It was
No, I think that's a great
something
idea.
that popped in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
well, I think we all understand that there's a definite need in town for a recreation building of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think this is be a great place for it, then I'd be behind you. Because there's not knowing what other land close in town is gonna be available.
Yeah.
At least we've got this one.
And basketball is losing the use
Silver
Oh,
Oak?
not in Silver Oak
Oh,
either.
really?
Oh, wow. So in this building, if we were to do that, are we talking just one gym? You know, one big basketball court? Two? What's that? Oh. Wow. Right.
And then just an open area.
Sort of like Northwest.
Right.
You know, but then you can also do another 16 feet
Mhm.
by 16 feet, and whatever head, you know,
Yeah, clearance,
head clearance
ceiling
you
clearance,
need,
yeah,
added onto that building.
right.
Yeah, I had spoke to Jay Lance a little bit last night just with basketball, and it said something about the same thing, if there was room to put any kind of basketball in that, in the building.
Mm-hmm.
Not thinking of it being on the size that we're talking about, but just like in the building itself.
Right.
And he said that even if it was just like a half a court with stuff that they could do for the younger kids,
Right.
it would be a huge help. So maybe we need to try to get some input from Jay and Gene, the guys at basketball, on what they would, truly need if we could do something like that.
Right. Yeah, I'll reach out to them and get some feedback from them, and then when we're ready to start talking with the engineers, pull something together and see what we can get. Once we know what the cost estimate would be for, a building like that, where we'd have basketball facilities, concession facilities, and, the multipurpose room, then we've got an idea of what we can do.
Anybody else have additional comments? No? Okay. That's good. All right, so we're just looking at possibly a building and 2 fields, correct?
Yeah,
That's kind of
so-
where we are.
Right, so we'll go with Plan A, Plan B. Plan
Okay.
A, 3 fields and a smaller building, and then Plan B, 2 fields and a larger building with basketball facilities.
Okay,
So, yeah,
that works.
right.
Okay.
So then the next step is to bring in an engineer. So we can reach out to a couple and see basically get proposals from them first on how much it would cost for them to do all of these plans, work with the county, get it all situated. And then we go basically before council and decide, all right, are we moving forward with this project? We're gonna be discussing the capital improvement plan and projects. And initially, I think the expansion on the old plan or the existing project plan, that is scheduled for 2029, but there's no way we can wait, that long. We've got to get these facilities constructed back there. So, I'm hoping that within the next 2 years, this will become a reality. And
Okay.
just while we're here and we're talking about playing surfaces and such, I know that we had discussed turf versus artificial turf and such. And from what I understand, the general consensus is that turf itself is better, would be better. I mean, I know I've done some research on the artificial turf and knowing what the cost is, and then the maintenance, and then the replacement costs and such. And you, Bill, had expressed an opinion on Bermuda grass being the preferred seed or turf, the preferred grass to play on. Okay.
Sort of like the putting green.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Okay, which is something, we could do. All right.
All right, no other comments? If you want to come up to the podium, sure.
Hi, I'm Mark Carter with Taneytown Lions Baseball. I guess listening to everything that's going on here with the expansion, originally it was supposed to be some baseball fields to help baseball. That's outgrown the fields here in town. I guess if this is what's gonna happen in the expansion, what's the future for baseball? And their expansion with the repairs we talked about, needing on these fields. Some of them are safety issues, safety concerns, and, stuff like that. That's what I'm wondering. Is there a future for what's happening through the baseball end of it? Is that talked about, or is that just thrown to the side? Or,
No, it's not thrown to the side. It definitely is talked about. The intent is to basically kind of clean up the situation down there with field orientation. Flipping field 2, putting an additional T-ball field in there, flipping field 5, and getting everything shipshape, getting the fences.
same thing we discussed, I
yeah.
just wanna make sure we,
Yeah.
that it, is it
Absolutely.
somewhere in the future, or is that
Oh,
something?
yeah, definitely. And that doesn't have to wait for this expansion project. Because those are basically improvements on, an existing developed park.
Okay.
So, and also, previously discussed additional lighting, getting lighting on a couple more of these fields to enable additional game time, practice time, I know would help,
Correct.
would alleviate,
Now, what about field 1? I know we talked about it, and initially we were gonna get some lights up there in football. So,
Yeah,
and
so
where's
the,
that
so
project?
that, we've applied for the grant funding. Just submitted it last week. We will hear about that grant award, and that's through the Maryland Smart Energy Communities, the Maryland Energy Administration. We'll hear about that in February. So,
That's something that, if it gets approved, we get the lights next year, or is that?
oh, yeah, yes. Yeah, because with these grants, you have a timeline. If they award that funding, you've got to do that project and finish it out and get reimbursed before.
Yeah, I just figured
going
I'd bring it
forward.
up, because obviously
Yeah.
with the lights that are continuing to blow, I think we're up to
Right.
10 or 12 lights
Oh,
now.
we need to definitely retrofit
Yeah.
those with LEDs. Yeah, because those old lights just, they're no good.
And
But
I
then-
guess my last concern would be, the driving situation there with the stones. I mean, are you blacktopping that? I don't know if you, is that gonna
Back
continue to
there?
be dust all through there with all that
Yes.
traffic?
Yeah, that would be, with the expansion project, that would be, so where the asphalt ends, between the little pond and
Yeah.
field 4, we would widen it around, back behind there, behind the public works, utility
Yeah.
buildings, and then field 1. And then that would all be blacktop, that would all be, paved.
So that would be my next
Mhm.
question, is that one section of road, it's a one-lane road.
Mm.
It's-
It's gonna be widened, yeah.
Correct. I mean, if you
Definitely
don't
gonna
get
be
two
widened.
passing vehicles there, I mean, the
Oh, no.
traffic that you're proposing to have there
Mhm.
is pretty significant.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That would definitely be widened to make it 2-lane. And then, again, it would be paved. And then it would lead right into that paved parking, on the expansion part.
Thank you,
Yeah.
appreciate your time.
Sure.
Thank you. All right, anybody else have any comments? Going once, going twice. Okay. Lorena, any new business to go over with?
No, I just have a reminder, let's see, need financial statements from those organizations that will be putting in assistance requests for the upcoming budget, and MOUs signed by those organizations that have them. So I still need, for the MOUs, I need a signature from soccer, football, softball, and then the financial statements, I need football and softball, I believe. Yeah, because I've got baseballs, soccers, and lacrosse. And that's all I have.
That's it? Okay. No additional comments? You guys have any questions for our league reps? No? Wow, okay. All right, well then, we are scheduling our next meeting. It is scheduled for January 12th. and that will start at 6:30. I don't know what I was thinking when I said 6, because I was rushing, so.
Okay.
So 6:30, January 12th. Is that it?
Since that meeting is not going to happen until January, another reminder that I need any requests for budget assistance coming in, because we're going to be working on that in January. So, and I think in the email that I sent out, I think I gave a deadline, December 10th. I need those budget requests, I think. Yeah, because I need time to get quotes and estimates and all that kind of good stuff to put into the budget.
All right,
Yeah.
so get those turned in. If there's nothing else, then I'll adjourn you until next year. All right, thank you guys for coming out, I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. 6:35. Sure will. You are not on camera. The mics are not hot. Only I can see you. Okay, I'm going to go hot with the mics. You've got 10 seconds.
Good evening. Welcome to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting for November 10th, 2021. I'm going to go ahead and just note that all members are here and accounted for, so thank you. Next up is approval of minutes from October 13th. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So move to accept the minutes as presented.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. I've got a motion and then a second. All right. Is there any questions, additions? No issues? Okay, then I will, those in favor of approving the minutes as stated, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
No nays? All right, we're unanimous. All right. All right, so we are going to jump into, I guess, unfinished business, Lorena? Or do you just want to jump into the work session?
Yeah, let's just do that.
All right, so
That's
we're
where we're gonna
jumping into the work session on the capital improvement projects.
Right.
All right. I'll give it to you, Lorena.
Okie dokie. So everyone's got their copy with the microscopic print, I think, sorry, of the 25-year capital improvement project list. The top portion of this, we've already taken care of, and some of these projects, and we obviously have a more realistic idea of expenditures here, especially with the projects that are complete. I went ahead and plugged in the numbers that we actually spent on the projects. So the resurfacing of the tennis courts and basketball courts at Memorial Park, that's FY 2022. That is going to happen this spring. You can see the 10,526 in there. That is our grant match. That's being taken care of by program open space funding. Yeah, so those, all tennis courts are getting new surfaces, and the basketball court as well. They'll all be acrylic, and the one tennis court's going to be adapted for pickleball. So that'll be that. Then the new storage building at THS Park, again, FY 2022. These were all projects that were approved by council. It's kind of like a special out-of-cycle capital improvement revision. The stadium lighting at the football field, I've got the match amount in here, but once we've got the utility rebate from Empower Maryland, Potomac Edison, that project will not cost us a cent.
Wow.
So that all of those lights at the football field are being retrofitted to LED for zero cost to the city, which is excellent.
That's impressive.
And I put in for a grant for the lighting at the baseball field one, and I'm hoping that that's going to be the same situation. If we get that funding awarded to us, and we'll know, as I said in the TAA meeting in February. The big one coming up is, as we know, Bollinger. And the phase one cost there, as you can see, I plugged that number in, $516,825. And that covers the entrance drive, the parking lot, the lighting for all of that, stormwater facility, the walking path, the pollinator garden, and all of the signage. Part of that is being funded by grants. We've got the community parks and playground for $150,000, and the LWCF Land Water Conservation Fund grant for $236,000, I think. So that will help. But that's slated for FY 23. So we need to get shovels in the ground out there, because we do have those grant funds that are basically outstanding. They're hanging out like uncashed checks. So we need to get it done, get it built, get the shovels in, and open it up. I just mentioned the stadium lighting at Field 1. That's next on the list also for FY 23. And then FY 24 is Bollinger Park Phase 2. And that, though it's a simpler phase, simpler construction, is still kind of pricey at $331,242. And that consists of that connector drive from the entrance uh, to the observatory site, the parking lot, stormwater for that as well, and electric and some site prep. So that needs to be done. Then the next project, 2025, stadium lighting at Roberts Mill Park. Again, that's retrofitting to LED. Going to go for grant funding for that as well. And hopefully that, you know, if we get lucky with the utility rebate, that won't cost us anything or be a minimal cost. So FY 2026 Festival Park, I've put on there. I do not know. You can see there's a blank. I don't know what the cost would be to develop that for what we're envisioning, because it's raw. There's nothing out there. There's no electricity, there's no water, there's no sewer, there's nothing. So we would have to start from scratch. I mean, Bollinger, you know, when I say electricity, well, we're just hooking that up from Fringer Road and just bringing it into the parking lot. So there are some lines out there on Stumptown, obviously, because people who live out there have electricity, but, you know, to get it in as far in as we need it to go. So all of that is gonna need to be explored, and that's gonna, again, we're gonna need to bring in an engineer and get some concept plans and some concept costs pulled together so that we know what we
I
need.
jotted down a lot of notes
Okay,
about that park.
okay.
So if you want to go through the rest of it and then come back to
Okay.
me, that's great.
Sounds like a plan, okay. And I'm just gonna run through these real quick then. The I'm sorry, where was I? All grass surface sports facilities. I don't know that we need to do that, because that's, as you can see, that's slated for 574,000 in FY 26 and continuing. I feel like if we keep up with the grass fields, aerating, seeding, fertilizing, overseeding, you know, then we can keep them in top shape, and then we don't need to replace them. And that saves, you know, over $500,000 that we can invest elsewhere. So if you think it best, we can just strike that off of the list and reallocate that money, you know, elsewhere. Again, these are just estimates too.
Well,
I mean, you do that anyway if when they're aerating and they see a patch, they're going to,
Right.
they're gonna seed it anyway. So
Yeah.
we're gonna keep on top of it.
so whatever the existing current costs are for doing the typical maintenance, mowing and aerating and overseeding and whatever,
Right,
that just
yeah,
keep that going.
exactly.
And if there is either storm damage or whatever, or vandalism, major way, or anything like that, at least if we have something in the budget,
Mm-hmm,
we could do that on one field at a time,
Right.
rather than having to do, or planning to do the whole bunch.
right,
You
exactly.
take care of the emergency situation, and as long as the rest of it is being maintained normally,
Right,
I don't see why we would need to replace.
exactly, yeah.
And then, like you were saying at the TA meeting about trying to move the Memorial Park expansion up, that $500,000 there goes a long way to getting that started
Mhm.
sooner, you know? So
Right. Absolutely.
So are we in agreement with striking that completely?
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
all right, we're striking it.
All right. So FY 27, replace existing skate park equipment at THS. I applied again for Community Parks and Playground to rehabilitate that skate park. That would involve basically demoing half of the asphalt, because it's almost like a continental drift there. It just, the grading, I don't know what happened, but it just shifted. It settled and shifted. So that one half of it, closer to the softball field, would have to be completely redone. And then I put into the grant too for a concrete plaza, some additional features and such. So I feel like if we can get that grant funding, then that takes care of it. I'm gonna keep going for that grant funding, because it's community parks and playground, and because we still have Bollinger Park outstanding with them. They may look at our application and say, not until you finish the
Right.
first one. So, but if we can get Bollinger done and reimbursed, then maybe they'll look at our application a little more favorably. We'll see. So that, I want to say, is maybe up in the air. It's questionable. The next one is playgrounds. We're gonna start getting into the playground replacements as these get older in age. So the first one up is Flickinger. Then, of course, then we've got the development of the 22-acre parcel at Memorial Park, which again, we all said that we want to move up. And then the next one is the playground at Roberts Mill Park. And the one after that is playground at Roth Avenue Park. And then the Tot Lot Playground at Memorial Park, the Neos Playground at Memorial Park, and the 5 to 12 Playground at Memorial Park. And then way off in 2039, installing a new walking trail at Flickinger, and then a basketball court the following year at Flickinger. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the basketball court. The walking trail might be a nice idea over there. But
Yeah, that would be nice.
yeah. But again, that's I feel lower priority, and that's way off, in the future
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm looking for here is there anything else that you think needs to be addressed that we should put on this list? And do you want to rearrange anything on this list, bump things up to a higher priority to do them sooner rather than later on? What are your thoughts on it? And then we can get to Festival Park and right after
Yeah.
that. Is that okay?
I was saying that the blank space for Festival Park in 16, if it hasn't already been done, we have to move the Memorial Park into that spot.
Mm-hmm. Right. So,
Because I think once Bollinger Park is finished,
yeah.
Memorial Park is the next best top priority.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Everybody agree with
And
that?
if there's any way to see our way clear to kind of mesh the completion of one and the beginning of the other
Oh, I'd
together.
love to. Yeah, for sure. I'd love to get the expansion project kicked off while we're still working on Bollinger,
Yeah. Exactly.
So, all right, so Memorial expansion, as discussed, then we will move that up to,
2026?
well, right now it's, well, should we move, we need to move it up before then. So Bollinger Park Phase 1 is listed as FY 2023, which is coming up July 1st. So do we slate it for 2024?
Yeah, I think you get it, like you said, up there while the phase 2 of Bollinger Park is getting worked on and wrapped up. Like you said, you try to get that started.
Okay, so we'll move that up.
But realistically, though, can we do Bollinger Park Phase 2 with the 22 acres? I mean, are we going to find enough grant funding and have money
Right.
to be able to really make that happen?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Those are big, big projects.
I know.
I guess the other question is kind of like you were talking earlier with, like, let's say we go to that Plan B and you're gonna do a building in fields, like, you're gonna have a breakdown of what the cost for, like, the fields versus the building. So, like, I mean, that's where, maybe at that time you get the fields started, and it's obviously not the whole budget of what's there, and then bring the building along later, or maybe get it graded for whatever needs to be done,
Right.
whatever. But like, maybe you could break it up a little bit, because like, I mean, she's right, and it's a lot of money in 2 projects there at
Oh,
the
yeah.
same time.
That
Right.
realistically, I don't think we can do it together, obviously. There's not enough
Right.
grant funding out there for us to make that happen, but I do believe that having those multipurpose fields are like super important,
Yes.
however
that
we
is-
can get them.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
almost feel like that's more important than phase 2 of Bollinger.
Right.
I mean, I know phase 2 is important, but like we have tons of people who are gonna be impacted by the Memorial Park expansion.
Mm. So is it your recommendation then to, well, we can leave both of them in the same year. The other thing too is, while it would be great to use some of the ARPA funding for this Memorial Park expansion, I don't know, depending on what the city's other needs are as far as the water and sewer infrastructure. If those projects use up all of the ARPA funds, then at least, then the general funds are freed up to be able to be used for parks.
Mhm.
Because, while we have the new park impact fees, we used those, as you know, it went way down, but it's starting to build back up again. So that's a good thing, but it's not going to be to the point of paying for the Memorial Park expansion, when we need it. So just some things to consider there, but we can definitely put it up in FY '24 and see what happens. Okay, so is there anything else that we think that needs to be moved up?
I mean, I would say consider the replacement of Roberts Mill playground equipment and prioritize that over Flickinger Park, just because Roberts Mill likely has a lot more traffic.
It does.
You know, that equipment right now isn't in terrible shape, but it certainly could be replaced. And I think, with the recent upgrades that were made around the pond, and with the fountain and everything, it'd be good to see that park continue to be upgraded.
Right, okay. So do you want to switch those two then?
Yeah, I mean, that would be my personal recommendation, to switch the
Mhm.
Flickinger Park in 2028.
28,
And,
okay.
yeah.
All right, is everyone else in agreement with that?
I agree with that.
Yeah, it
Absolutely.
is. Okay, all right then.
I mean, obviously, the 25-year plan was there to use, kind of as a guide. But sometimes that 25-year plan is just not realistic to make happen.
Right, well, and
'Cause
things change too.
Things are
Yeah.
going to change,
Mhm.
and needs are going to be needing to be, it's going to be addressed based on the needs of our residents. So, I mean, I know it's a good guideline, but sometimes it's kind of hard to be realistic with that, trying to figure it all out, so.
Right,
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone else?
Mm.
Okay. And I'll have a better idea too on the state of our playgrounds. Tim Boyle from Playground Specialists and Eric going around next, it's a Tuesday morning, I believe, and inspecting all of the playgrounds. So I'll get an idea from him on what he thinks the longevity is and which is going to need to be replaced first. Give me a timeline on those. But you're right, Emmanuel, the playground at Roberts Mill is heavily used, much more than
It is,
Flickinger.
yeah.
So, all right.
Do we have cameras maybe for Flickinger? Do
We do not have cameras at Flickinger yet. Yeah.
we need to get that on the list too, what we don't have as far as, maybe put that somewhere in the
Right.
budget to get cameras
Well,
everywhere.
that's true. And the other thing too, I mean, Bollinger we're gonna need them there as
Yes.
well. And that is not something that we had factored into the cost. So we'll have to add that to the list of
I would think that we wouldn't need that probably until phase 2 anyway. That once we get the observatory in there,
Mhm.
that's when we'll really need cameras. But
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But we definitely need cameras everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Bill, you've got a bunch of notes for festival.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just jotted down a bunch of stuff,
Okay.
and my idea was that if we can do it in little chunks,
Mhm.
we can get that space usable.
Mhm.
I'm not saying finished or anywhere near finished,
Mhm.
but usable for certain smaller activity, group things, whatever, um, while the rest of it is being worked on.
Mhm.
And that's kind of how my ideas developed. First thing is, and you've already kicked all that off, is the removal of the old building,
Right.
because that was that's an eyesore and is dangerous to begin with. Second thing is you have to clear the area of invasive plants, weeds, and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know whether that can be would need to be contracted out, or whether the Public Works could do that.
Mhm. Well, I could tell you, like with Balliner.
Depends on their
Yeah.
workload and all
Well,
that.
exactly, yeah.
I'm saying,
Right.
I don't know whether that would work or not, but it's,
Mhm.
There's some farm equipment or
Was an
something
idea.
that's hidden in some weeds and stuff back in there,
Mhm.
so
Right.
it's not gonna be for Public Works to do.
Right. I know with, well, with
Yeah.
Ballinger, that's gonna be part of the contractor, whatever contractor, whomever wins the bid or is awarded the contract, that they're gonna need to go in there, they're gonna have to remove some of those invasive and species
Right.
and clean up. There's, believe it or not, there's debris and, yeah, old farm equipment and tires and broken bottles and all kinds of stuff in there and in the woods and the fields that the contractor
yeah,
will be
Lord knows what's in
removing.
a lot of that place. And then once, either before or whatever, we need a site survey,
Mhm.
kind of like the basic plan,
Right.
like
Mhm.
that, just to see, what are the parameters,
Yes.
what's the true size of the space and how it looks. And then the next thing would be, for me, to install the poles for lighting, not get them installing lighting at this point. Just figure out where the light poles would be, and they could be quite minimal, actually.
Mhm.
Um, But just to know where they are and put a pole in.
Right.
And then it would be, to grade where necessary, and then delineate where the walkways, driveways would be. Could be gravel, stone, wood chips, or probably the best thing for that space, actually, due to the nature of the hill,
Mm.
is to be a pervious hard surface
Mm.
where the water can go through it, as opposed to
Excuse me.
creating a rushing river down a asphalt
Right.
walkway.
Right.
And then you would add lighting
Mm.
and a temporary stage.
Mm.
And then we would need a formal gate, entranceway, ticket booth, restrooms, office
Okay.
space. And then the permanent stage band shell would be the last.
Right, the amphitheater.
Would be the
Mhm.
last piece. But like I say, some of this is gonna be a little pricey,
Mhm.
I know,
Yeah.
but some of it is not. And if we can work it into a budget to get, a little bit of this done and a little bit of that done while we're finishing up the other projects,
Right.
we can get this, especially that large flat area at the entrance where you come in.
But you're envisioning
can be-
that as like a concert venue, is that what you're looking at, like a Merriweather?
Yeah, well,
I don't
no,
know
no,
where-
like an Oregon Ridge,
Okay.
because you have the large slope, which is a natural
Right.
seating area, and you put a stage at the bottom.
I don't necessarily know if that's where we're all going with that, though. I mean, have we really discussed our
Well,
plans?
that was,
I mean, that was definitely an idea of yours that you wanted to foresee, but I don't think we've gone into, have we gone into? I've had a long day, so somebody
Yeah.
let me know.
I mean, I know that there were discussions of having the amphitheater there, you know, obviously, the entrance parking, all of the infrastructure. But other than that, I haven't heard, you know, anything
Right.
any other designs on it. But yeah,
Okay.
we would definitely have to have an engineer come in, survey everything, come together with
Oh, yeah.
a concept plan.
Oh, yeah.
And
And like I say,
cost, you know, the concept costs.
like I say,
you
that
know.
flat part at the top, as you first come in, that, to the left as you first drive in,
Right.
as long as that is mowed and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you could have the dog trials or whatever out there. It would be usable. It's another, it would
Oh,
be another
absolutely.
usable
Right.
space
Right.
while we're working on the rest of it,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it ends up determined being.
Right.
But I mean, when I first saw the time I was out there on the tour, and I just looked at it, I said, that hill looks like Oregon Ridge to
Mhm.
me. And if you had lights up there before anything else is developed,
Right.
Sled Hill #1.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a beautiful piece of land. so.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
but I
it's
mean,
very
you know,
exciting.
I saw that, and I, having been to Oregon Ridge for concerts,
Mm-hmm.
it struck a nerve.
Yeah. Well,
So
I mean,
anyway,
that would be a good use for it, for sure.
it could be someplace, an opportunity to increase our usable funds.
Mm. Yeah. Well, I mean, basically, I really think that, other than the amphitheater, the infrastructure going in wouldn't be that expensive. I mean, we're talking, you know, parking, you know, the entrance drive, parking lot, lighting, of course, stormwater, gotta have stormwater with everything, you know, and then, if we're going to maintain just more of a natural, you know, cut lawn kind of environment, and then, you know, just have the amphitheater there, then, I mean, that's the majority of the cost,
Yeah,
just
majority
getting
of
it out
the,
there.
majority of the
Right.
cost is gonna be the grading where
Mhm.
necessary, paving,
Mm-hmm. Getting the
installing the
electricity
lighting,
in there.
and then the,
I was gonna say, I think the biggest cost is gonna be, we're gonna have to redo the road and then run the
Well, yeah, I
electric
wasn't
and
even talking
water.
about that. The way, what's that called, a dog leg on Stumptown before you get
Yeah.
to the
Right,
park.
you have to widen that
Yeah.
section
Redo the whole
before
road.
that's even
Right,
a thought.
yeah. They'd have to kind of shave that corner of the road there to make it safer. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a
But-
big project right there.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, before we even, okay.
Mm.
But that's still slated for
down the
2026.
road.
Well,
It's not that, I mean, it's really, yeah, it's not that far if,
well, that's the question. Do we leave it at 2026 or do we?
So I thought we switched it with Memorial.
Well, Memorial, we bumped up to
Memorial all the way up.
2024.
Right.
Right. So we've got two for 2024. We've got Bollinger Phase 2 and we've got Memorial expansion. So 25, and honestly, 25 might be open because
it might be.
So this grant cycle, I've applied for Field 1, a memorial for the lighting. If we get that award in February, we get that finished in the FY23 budget. Then if I go the next time, next November, for Roberts Mill, then that would be.
That would bump it up.
Yeah, it would be.
25, okay.
Yeah, it would
I
be,
mean,
it
that's
would
do-
be,
that's
it would
more
be in
doable,
FY24.
Yeah. Mhm.
And hopefully it wouldn't cost us anything if we got a great rebate like we've been getting. But we can leave it at FY25, just in case.
Okay.
But just thinking about funding, and some things will not cost as much as they're listed here, and other things obviously are gonna cost more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, you've got your work cut out for you in the next 5 years, that's for sure.
mhm. Yeah,
You're gonna be busy.
yeah.
Hopefully we keep it next 5 years.
So you
Yeah.
understand you've made the list.
Yeah,
that means
hopefully
you
she
can't
doesn't
ever
run
leave.
away.
Yeah, really.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Does anybody have any other concerns, thoughts, suggestions for the list, for the order of the list? Anything else?
I mean, we could change things around all day with like replacements of playgrounds and
Yeah.
stuff. I don't even want to entertain that because things happen.
Right.
You're gonna have to have some money in your budget for repairs because of
Right. Yeah.
vandalism or whatever,
Right.
so just in case.
Right.
we're-
Well, and this being just capital, obviously we put money in the budget for regular maintenance
Right.
and repairs and,
Right.
materials and supplies and such, so, to cover the smaller things.
Right, but just in case.
Yeah, right, exactly, so. Okay, well, unless anyone has anything else for it? All right,
Anybody want to add anything? Okay, really?
well, then.
Could it be that easy?
Wow. Well, then, the next step is that, I'm gonna go back, I'll amend the draft as we've discussed tonight. And then the next step is going to be, sitting down with, the city manager, Jim, and going over this. I know he's had it on his to-do list to get, the CIPs situated, revised, and then, hopefully to stick to them. Because I know this past year, we just kind of threw everything into a different mix with like, hey, look, we do have a little bit of extra money, so while this is going on, while that's going on, let's do this and let's do that.
But again, that's also part of having a 25-year plan. You
Mhm.
know, I mean, it's just, I get it,
Mm-hmm.
but just not realistic. It'd be good to have like, you know, a 5 to 10-year plan, like
Right.
short-term, long range. But
Right.
25 is just,
Yeah.
woo,
Right.
yeah. How are
Yeah.
you ever? Yeah.
Right.
All right.
And then once, I guess once he and I work on it, then, I guess it'll go before council for you guys to take a look at it and approve it, or not.
Or just talk about it for a really long time.
Right, yeah. So, all right.
All right, do you have any, besides that,
Mhm.
do you have any other new business to share with us?
I don't think so. I sent my monthly report and the events, out there. I've, just a quick update since then, the initial flyer for Winefest 2022 is finished. And on Friday, I'm going to be sending out the invitations to the craft vendors, artisan vendors, and all of the beverage vendors.
Yay,
So, yes.
that's exciting.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. And get that going. I'm also going to be reaching out on Friday as well to the food vendors, not only for Winefest, but also for all of our 2022 events that we need food trucks or food vendors at. get on their books
Absolutely.
now.
Yep.
Yeah. So, oh, that begs a question. So we had already discussed charging $100 for food vendors for Wine Fest. What about our other events? Do we want to, charge for some of those, or do we just want to just have them there?
Depends on how big the event is.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean,
Mhm.
Wine Fest is designed to hopefully bring more people. I would
Right.
think that would be more appropriate, but you
Mhm.
don't know, like Harvest Fest.
Right.
I don't feel comfortable with
Yeah.
doing
Right.
that too.
Yeah,
Now, like your
But
basic, like,
smaller, yeah.
yeah, like your basic, like, food truck nights, I mean,
Right.
do you charge for that, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
right, exactly. What about the family fun food truck, the kickoff one? Do we charge for that? I don't know. I just feel like the one that's the biggest is the wine festival.
Mhm.
So that makes sense to charge them. I can't think of
Well,
any of the other ones.
I mean, the thing is with the Wine Fest, like, we have a lot of expenses that go into that.
Mm,
Just having a food truck Friday when they show up, I mean, it doesn't cost us any, you know what I
No,
mean? Like,
mm-mm.
that's,
The only thing I'm doing is putting out a flyer,
Right.
for them
Right.
basically. Yeah.
and that's just getting people together and,
Mhm.
getting them some business and,
Right.
And using our parks and,
drawing,
yeah,
drawing
absolutely.
people into the
Yeah,
town, so.
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're in agreement that Wine Fest for right now.
Okay, don't charge for anything else.
Is
Okay,
that,
good.
because,
I think
yeah,
that's- all
it
right.
just feels weird to do
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
for a big event, like what we're trying to attract as far
Mhm.
as how many people to visit, that might be good.
Okay, all right. Okay, after the Christmas tree lighting on December 4th, our next event after that, it's not gonna be until the Easter egg hunt,
Oh my gosh.
April 9th. Yeah, so,
Let's get through Christmas first.
and then it'll
Time
gear up.
flies
Yeah, then
by,
it'll gear
yeah.
up, yeah, into the busy season. May's gonna be very busy with the fishing derby and the wine fest, so,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, we've got a busy, yeah, year
Yes.
coming up.
Yeah, indeed. So,
So the Christmas tree lighting is on December 4th.
correct, yes. So we're gonna kick that off at 3:30 with a candy cane hunt.
Okay.
And then other, festivities, trying to line up the FSK High School Choral Group to sing some carols and such. If I can't get them, then I'm going to reach out to a couple of churches and just see who wants to come and sing.
Okay.
And Hayride's going to reach out to Mr. Sewell and see if we can get the same tractor and hay wagon that we had for Harvest Fest.
Oh, that would be
And
exciting.
do the lights, like we had discussed, wrap, lights around the
Yay.
little railings or whatever, and take them out. Judy's working on something very exciting. It's like an arch that you can drive, lit arch thing that you can drive through. So we'll take the wagon through there, I think,
Yeah.
if it's
Cool.
wide enough. I think it'll be wide enough,
Fingers
yeah.
crossed,
So that's
yeah.
neat. And Santa's arriving at 5:30, lights on, and woo. I've got a coffee vendor lined up for that, and I think the Lions Club is lined up for that. And
Didn't we have another food vendor supposedly lined up?
Rosita, yeah, the one who did the Italian and
Yeah.
German sausages
Yeah.
and everything, and the roasted nuts. She can't do it now.
Oh,
I know. I was looking forward to this, roasted almonds and coffee, kind of thing. But I'll get, somebody else. So that'll be good.
We'll keep looking, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And
One last question.
yeah.
Do you have the winners of the photo contest?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, yes, we did announce that. I know, I keep forgetting that you're not on social media, Bill. Come on, you've got to make that account. Make an account for you, yes. Yes, so
I
the,
consider social media to be neither.
yeah. So the photography contest winners were announced. Thank you all for putting your votes in and judging those. And the gift cards are down at the front desk. I think Destiny Halpin won the overall, and she also won second place in the nature.
What were
Uh,
do you have the
Shayna-
picture numbers so I can go back and?
I don't. I can email them to you. Can I email those to you?
Yeah,
That way you know which ones went. Okay.
yeah.
And then Shayna Johnson won first place in the nature category. Ariel Jacobs won first place in the action category. That was the picture of all the little baseball, kids. That was really cute. Elizabeth Perry won second place with the soccer game going on at Roberts Mill. Trying to think, in play was Courtney Levin. She's the
Okay.
one who had the Roberts Mill Park playground with the rainbow going over it. And then Stacy Knight with a little girl at the Roth Avenue.
Yeah.
I
park.
can't remember my
Was
own
your
kid's
brain
name
right
right
now?
now.
Yeah,
Your
right.
brain right now. I
Ah,
just need like a little
right.
piece of that for my life.
It's amazing.
Impressive.
That was really
No.
impressive.
So those were our winners, and we saw them all. We had a lot of good submissions.
Yes.
It was
Beautiful
hard
pictures.
to
I know- I
even
can
judge,
imagine.
because I
Yeah.
looked at them and I was like, whoa, I can't. So that was awesome, that everybody was able to submit their photos, and
Yes.
I'm glad we
Yeah.
had a good participation.
Yeah, Elizabeth Perry, actually, she suggested that we run a calendar contest. And then, that way we've got, choose 12 pictures and make a calendar and sell it as a fundraiser. Yeah. Yeah, so that's definitely, I thought that was a great idea. That's something to consider. for
Yeah, that
sure.
would be great.
Mhm. Yeah,
All right.
Throw all of our events on it.
that's
I
right.
know, right?
Put it on, right on that calendar.
already there.
Be there.
And if you buy a calendar, look, you've got a tear off coupon on that month for Wine Fest.
Oh,
or
there
whatever.
you go.
Yeah.
Thinking ahead.
That's right.
Free drink on us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
And how did the Tales of Taneytown go?
That went really well. Thank you again for being a judge. Yeah.
My pleasure.
We had, between the donated gift baskets, we had 6 categories. We had 8 registrants, I think, for the costume contest.
It's 9.
Was it 9? Right, I think, maybe it was, yeah. Yeah, because we gave away for best costume, there was a first, second, and third place for that one. But there was just like the first place for the other 5 categories.
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
I think it was 8.
Yeah. And everyone was able to win a prize,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was really cute. And I don't know if anybody's seen the video of it. Again, you need the Facebook account.
Just
Go over to
email them,
somebody's
I
house
know.
who has Facebook. But Natasha, who provided the petting zoo for the occasion, she rode down to the park on her horse, and she had
All
painted
dressed
the
up.
horse, right, it had like skeleton, marks on it or whatever, and she was dressed with like these marks and everything, a big black velvet cape and everything. It was fantastic. That was surreal, standing at the registration desk and hearing
Watching a
this
horse.
clop, 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 and we're like, what is that? Oh my gosh, what is that? But she actually led the parade then. That was
Oh, that's
really
cool.
cute,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was.
and with the horse, Buddy.
But then she
and-
couldn't. Yeah, then she couldn't stop because everybody kept following her.
Yes, yeah,
She's
she was
"How
like,
do I-
she
how do
she
you end
read
the
it, she's like,
parade?"
what do I do? They're still following me. Like, just stop the horse. It's
Oh,
okay.
that's cute,
That
though.
was cute, yeah. Yes,
Well, good.
yeah, it went really well, and the weather held off, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
All right. Anything else?
I can't think of anything.
All right. I'm
Um,
going to jump to you, Councilwoman. Any updates for us, or are
Yeah,
you
no,
going
I
to do a
don't-
call for helpers coming
Yeah.
up for
Yes, I was just gonna
decorating?
I was like,
for-
there's always a call for helpers, but that's it. Like right now, I'm not sure. Like I know when I'll be out there because I've been working at the school now, so I don't get out there until 3 in the afternoon. But I think next week is when it's going to really start. I'll be out there every afternoon and probably on the weekends.
Right.
Because I know they're going to take the banners down here in town, probably Friday, maybe on Monday, between the two. So I'll have to get Main Street done real quick and then go over to the park and hit that hard.
Mhm.
All right.
So,
So once you start, I don't know, Lorena, can you post that on?
yeah, maybe
We'll
put on
post it on
Facebook or
Facebook
something.
to
I
see if
definitely
there's
can.
any
Yeah.
call for
Mhm.
resident volunteers, not just
Right.
us,
Mhm.
just
Yeah,
anybody that wants to get into the Christmas spirit.
that's true. You give me your schedule, and I will put it out there on Facebook.
Okay.
Anyone available, come on down to Memorial Park, help us decorate for Christmas. Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
Love to get some of those high schoolers that need their
Service hours.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So
Yeah.
there you go.
Mhm.
That's another call too. So,
Yeah.
excellent. Anything else?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay,
I think we're all good.
all right. So I'm gonna just go down and see if anybody has any discussions. But again, since we had the work session, but it went smooth, so that's exciting. We get to have off in December. So yay, we're gonna take a break for a month. We're gonna come back in January, so enjoy, and if you can volunteer your time, there you go. You can volunteer to decorate Taneytown.
There you have it.
There you go. All right, so I'm gonna go down. Bill, do you have anything further?
I have spoken my piece.
Okay.
I don't have
Mr.
anything.
Nothing.
No.
Mr. Holmes? Mr. Harvey?
Nope. Nothing to add.
Okay, all right. So with that, I just want to say to all of you, thank you for everything that you've done in 2021. It started off a little rough. 2021 was a little crazy, trying to make things happen, but we've made events for our residents. We've all volunteered. We've all done everything we possibly can to make it a success, and we have. So thank you both so much for helping and being our leader and making things get done. So, but thank you so much. So hopefully 2022 will be rocking. And we'll get more people out to the parks and more activities. And so, thank you again. So with that, all right, January 12th will be our next meeting, and that will be right after our athletic association. Okay, with anything further, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, got a motion. Do I have a second?
I will second.
We got a second. All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, we're adjourned until 2022. Thank you.
Happy New Year.